It's so funny because I feel like for our job sometimes when you saw that on the schedule, the media schedule, you'd be like, I can be a little bit late. I don't have to.
I never think that.
Neither do I. I come prepared every day for camp.
You guys are liars. But it was cool
Lazy.
talking.
We're here to work. We're here to work.
Just
The fact that you just openly admitted, like, let's blow this off.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that.
Every rep matters,
Oh
Jenna.
my God, you guys are
We
the
have
worst.
to get better every single day, or somebody or some YouTube channel will pass us.
1%
Yeah.
better. All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris, Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We always appreciate it. Training camp day number 4. They had a day off on Saturday. We are here on Sunday, so let's break it down. Let's start. I feel like we always start with the offense, so let's continue the trend.
Yeah.
Mike, I thought we saw kind of a bounce back day after the way Friday ended for the offense against the first team defense.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we go back to what happened on Friday, you know, there was some reasons maybe for the interceptions. But regardless of whether it's Josh, which I don't think much of it was on him, and not a great route run maybe at times, it's still the whole offense, right?
Yeah.
So when it struggles, and the defense makes plays. I think you're right, bounce back. Maybe not as strong as it was the first 2 days.
Yeah.
But there were a few spectacular plays, I would say, that definitely lit up the practice. Keon Coleman and Dawson KNOX making those
Yeah,
plays.
the Dawson KNOX one is already up on the Bills' social media, on their Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Just, you came over to us, and what did you say?
I said at training camp, in those settings, that was probably the best play I'd seen ever watching them at practice. And the reason I brought that up was because
Go off, King.
Matt Milano had outstanding coverage, and if you see the play, you'll know what I'm talking about. And when I say the ball was on a line, it's a beautiful throw. I happened to be standing, you know, in the direction where the ball was coming, maybe about 10 yards to the left, and you could see it coming on a seam, beats the defense. There was 2 or 3 defenders running behind him. Great route by Dawson KNOX. Tremendous throw and the catch. Then he hits the ground.
Yeah, then to maintain.
And maintains it the whole way through. The whole team comes around to celebrate. That is elite defense and better offense.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's where a great throw beats great defense.
Yep.
Like, that was just one of those ones that where, again, it's trust. And again, you're starting to see that, especially with some of the other guys. But to throw that ball to Dawson, knowing, hey, I can throw it up there, he can go get it. And I thought that was impressive.
That is why he is our pass catcher of the day. When you have a Mike Catalana all-time catch, I feel like that's mandated. You have to be the pass catcher of the day.
Well,
but
I also want to add one thing. Over the years, we have not had a lot of Josh Allens here, meaning like there was a lot of years at camp where you were
EJ's
just
like stalking to see the hospitality tents in the back.
So Josh
JT
can
lost
make
me.
those
Like, what?
throws, but I guess to me it was the combination of the throw, the catch, and the defense that was played, and it played out, and everybody reacted. So that really was. I thought that was a heck of a play.
And it's nice to see those from Dawson KNOX because we talk so much about Dalton Kincaid and how talented he is and how elite of a pass catcher he can be. But I feel like to have Dawson, who's coming in a year after battling some injuries, the wrist issue, all that stuff, it's nice to see the guy that you think of being able to make plays like that because he is paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he's one of the veterans of this team that guys really look up to.
Yeah, it's not fair to say he's the forgotten.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Oh.
It's fine.
Yeah, one of the lights went out, but we're just going to keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
It's
still-
fine.
I usually do all the technical work here,
Yeah.
so I figured I would jump right in and turn the light on.
That's
But
the
I
open-
That's the fastest I've
That's-
ever seen him move
I
to do something technical.
trusted you guys, and I
It was
waited,
like
and
he,
I
it was
thought,
like he was trying to pull a gold jacket trick on us. He was just
Bye.
going to walk off the frame. So, yeah. I think Dawson, at times, we were even talking about it as we try and dial it back in. That
Sorry.
not to say forgotten about, but especially offensively between the injuries and the addition of Dalton and drafting him in the first round. I think you kind of think of Dalton as the tight end. And we've heard Joe Brady talk and rave reviews about Dawson and his well-roundedness as a tight end with the blocking and all of those things. So it is nice to see Dawson make some of those flash plays. And credit to me for not mixing up Dalton and Dawson there as I went back and forth.
Credit to me.
Credit to me. Okay, well, discredit to you.
Oh.
MVS.
No, we're staying positive.
We're
staying positive.
Now, hold
working
on.
a lot with the
Hold
second
on.
team.
So-
Beautiful catch from Mitch Trubisky on Friday.
Yeah. And listen, we want to be honest with you guys. We made our picks on the most receiving yards during the year. Khalil Shakir is looking good, obviously. The one guy we didn't pick was Keon, and
Yes.
you never know how it's going to play out, but Keon's looked very good. And then I said Curtis Samuel. Dan went off the board with MVS. Now, we're still a long way away from the first game of the season.
You better hope this doesn't come back to bite you.
I feel
I'm not saying anything. All I know is the man who made that pick seems to be hedging.
yes.
So the other great catch that we also had was Dalton Kincaid as we talk about the other tight end here.
Okay, fine. We'll bring this up again.
It was
Yes.
11 on 11. He was in the slot, covered by Taryn, and just put a move on Taryn and left Taryn in the dust. And again, it's one thing to make that move and get free from a defender. It's another when it's Taryn Johnson, who is incredible, all-pro caliber slot corner. It was one of those plays where it didn't look, if you just saw the end result of the play, it wouldn't necessarily wow you. But seeing the whole play develop, I think the team also responded of like, that was nuts.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also, when we did talk to Dawson after practice, he talked about how, in year one for Dalton, coming in his rookie year, he was learning the playbook, adjusting to the NFL. Now he sees in this year the progression of Dalton being able to actually make plays, actually be able to have that fluidity, have
Yep.
that instinctual ability to make some of the plays that he has made, which are really impressive. So I think that's the continuation of him growing, and it's got to be great because you can tell he's not thinking, he's reacting, and when you see the playmaker that he can be, it is really exciting. But we should shoehorn back.
No, but I was going to say, Dalton could probably have won all 4 days pass catcher of the day.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He plays the same every day, which is very well.
Yeah.
And he's very, very good pass catcher.
You done good, kid.
So we're talking wide receivers. Let's see, again.
Yeah.
Shakir, Samuel. Let's talk Keon Coleman.
Yes.
Yeah.
The catch he made, again, this is the frustrating part for all of us. These guys, great shooters. They'll get the plays coming. The team doesn't let us, for the TV station, shoot those plays.
Yeah.
And we're standing there watching it, and Coleman on Christian Benford makes a tremendous play.
Beautiful throw from Josh to the back pylon. It's one of those throws that Josh is throwing. It's either going to be an incompletion or a catch by his guy. And again, more good coverage. Keon's able to make the adjustment and kind of run under a ball that had nice touch onto the back pylon, and then to keep his feet in bounds, maintain everything. It was, again, that was another one where the entire team collected together to celebrate, and Dion talking about, go off, young man, all these adamant of what a play it was. He's continued to have stack good days on top of good days. It hasn't just been one good day, one step back. It's been steady so far for Keon.
And I think, too, when he was drafted, it was so much talk of red zone play and his ability.
Yep.
And sometimes it takes an adjustment, but I feel like for him, seeing what we have seen so far in camp, some of those catches he has made really does show his ability to go up and get it. Be in a position where he is
Above the rim?
above the
Above
rim.
the rim.
You would say above the rim.
You know what? We were fortunate to be standing there to watch it just because.
Actually, I was getting everyone waters.
Dan and I were fortunate to be standing there watching it.
Great
and
catch.
You know what I liked about it? It looked very natural
Yep.
of him. Not just going up to get the ball, feet in, 2 feet in. They didn't have a referee there. I'm going to make the call.
Yeah.
Unlike the one they took away from him the other day. He got both of his feet in, but he looked like very comfortable in that spot.
And it wasn't like an, oh my gosh, I caught it. It was like a, yep,
Yeah.
I got it. Spin the ball. Let's go celebrate.
Who did the celebration with the offensive lineman? Was that on the
Kincaid touchdown.
Yeah.
Kincaid touchdown? They flipped it to, I think it was McGregor.
McGovern.
McGovern. Yeah, when I say McGregor. McGovern. And then he flipped it to,
Another lineman.
oh, it was your friend, Osiris Torrance.
Dan's favorite. You should just do a sit-down interview, just telling him, Hey, man, hand up. I made you Irish.
I made him Irish for a day.
Yes, to do the spike. That's who I was thinking of. Yes, he did the spike. So
Who did Josh run into the end zone with holding?
two times. He did it twice. He did it with Davis, and then he did it with
Dawson, I thought.
Dawson.
Was it Dawson?
Yeah.
That they ran. You know what we joke about, where the offensive player just keeps going. The defense knows they can't tackle him. And there's Josh, 17's running down the field with Davis into the end zone. They went in, slapped hands. Then he did the same thing later. So.
I did see Joe Brady, Khalil Shakir, and Josh kind of collecting to the side, kind of talking through some of the routes on when they were doing, was it 7-on-7?
Mm-hmm.
So I did see that, which I feel like we haven't talked about Khalil as much, but I think that's another part of him, continuing to have that role with Allen and seeing a greater role this upcoming season, and that's expected. We should also talk, though, about MVS.
Sure. It's just steady.
That's
steadily not noticeable.
Yeah. I mean, it
Or
really.
like standing out in a not great way.
Oh, he got into it a little bit.
Theory.
Right? He got into it.
Nope, it was
No,
Claypool.
that was Claypool.
The first
it was
one, we had
Claypool,
the first skirmish of camp, and it was Chase Claypool. So if that was on your bingo card, you win, as well with Jamarcus Ingram, tangled up with each other, ripped each other's helmets off. That was pretty much it. He was also banged up by the end of practice. Claypool and Ty Johnson, two of them that seemed to kind of be nicked up towards the end of practice. They stayed at the field, but
What were you going to say?
Nothing. He just said he was nicked up.
Oh.
Ty Johnson was a strange one. He, again, it's different because they're not tackling. Now, we should mention they're putting on the full pads for practice on Monday. But I've seen a couple of times, I think we saw it with Kaiir Elam, because you can't hit. It takes away the instinctual part of the game sometimes. And honestly, you have to know how to stop or run through something. And Kaiir hit the ground because he's trying to avoid contact.
Yeah.
And Ty Johnson stopped kind of funny. I just happened to notice it, and then I noticed him limping. Didn't see anything about an injury, but again, it's a different thing as opposed to just playing football like they will starting this season.
Kaiir did have an interception again today.
Took it to the end zone, then handed it to a little boy. And by the way, the kid doesn't get to keep the ball, right?
I can't
they
imagine.
had to give it back.
Yeah.
It's not like he chucked it in the stands.
James Cook was not here today. It was an excused absence, so that also something of note.
also Ray Davis had a fumble.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're kind of on 1.5 fumbles for Ray Davis counter.
Yeah.
Because
You
of
wanna
the-
It was
set
at
off-
the end of the run. Who knocked it out?
Klein.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to set off McDermott and this team, put the ball on the ground.
Ask James Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you get those opportunities, hey, look, and I think he's looked good. Davis catches the ball well, does a lot of things well, but running back they just will harp and harp and harp on you got to hold on to the football.
Couple of low snaps again from McGovern was something to note, and we also talked again about the motion. So much motion. We were talking with somebody about it too. They're splits, and this may be too inside football and inside baseball, but the fact is they're lining up so close together. The wide receivers are closer to the line, and the reason that you can do that is these splits and these bunches. The defensive backs then can't jam you. So again, we've talked about before, can they win one-on-one? Well, if you can give the defensive back, force him to back up, it gives you a better chance to do so. So again, the things that I'm noticing with Joe Brady's offense and the little things that we didn't see maybe necessarily last season because it was kind of in mid-season form, those are just two things that I've continued to notice: motion and splits.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
I don't wanna
it
interrupt.
kind of goes off your point, but speaking of Brady, I just am constantly impressed by how assertive is the wrong word, and I feel like we say energy too much, but the level, the standard at which he expects guys to be at, even in practice, even when it's hot, even when you're deep in the rep count, like I'm just very impressed by how he's critical, but also constructive, but also complimentary. And I think that's a really nice mix for a guy taking over.
And consistent, like you said,
Yeah.
he does it all the time. And I think this is where away at camp, and the players mention it, and them being together and them trying to create that standard for the team. Look, this team has been very good. It's not like they're coming off a bad season, but it's been a lot of changes, and I think they want to establish certain things. And Joe Brady did not get that opportunity in training camp last year. I mean, he was on the team. He was the coach, but this is his chance. So, and I think also 17 has been better about that too.
Absolutely.
Dawson mentioned that. I asked him if Josh has changed, and he's like, as a guy, he's the same guy, except he's on the cover of Madden and all those things, and everybody knows him. But as a football player, but then he went on to say, Allen is being a little more verbal, maybe
Assertive
about what's going on and with the players, because you got a lot of guys trying to find their way in this offense and find their roles.
We also heard from Mack Hollins, which Dan will have a story coming out soon on him, but just a really unique individual. But also I do feel like he adds so much, maybe more than I was expecting. You know, when they signed him in the offseason, I was like, cool. Wide receiver 5, great. But I just think what he brings and how much the guys love him and kind of some of the catches that he's been able to make, I'm like, wow, this guy is moving up the depth chart in a way that I was not expecting.
He has a unique personality, which you will see tomorrow when my story comes out, my sit down. But he has the mindset and perspective, I think, what this team needs at this moment. Joe Brady has talked a lot about everybody's going to eat in this offense. And I think it was you asking him, like, how does it fit in and where do you find yourself in and how is it going to work when you say everybody eats? And he goes, because we're fine with it, because we all got plates and we know we're going to eat. Some days our plates are going to be bigger, some day they're going to be smaller, but we all know eventually we're going to eat. And
everyone has a plate. Yeah.
And I thought that was very telling. And again, he's a guy that has won a Super Bowl. Philly?
Was he still on that? Yeah, he would have been on that team.
He would have been on Philly special team.
Yeah, he should have been. Yeah, I think he was, yeah.
So this is a guy that knows what it takes. He's bounced around the league, great perspective, amazing personality.
Interesting.
Yes.
He did reference the plates, but not the utensils.
Not a garbage plate either.
No, but I'm saying is he was going to use the plates, but
we got to get the guys talking about that.
I think he can use a plate. He says he's fine with it.
Oh, I see what you're saying, because he does not. Oh my God, I almost called him Gabe Davis. Mack Hollins. What?
That's what it takes to get Dan to walk off the set.
But Mack Hollins does not use utensils, but he uses plates.
That's interesting. The other thing I think about it, Mack brings energy and all those things, but he can play.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm talking
in
about.
a role. I know, but I'm saying he's in a role of still like the fifth guy. And I think that's fine. I think he will play special teams. We saw him returning kickoffs today.
Yeah.
He's got that role. You're not looking for that from the second guy or third guy. I don't believe he's in that position. So it's a guy who can contribute to the offense, but he's going to bring energy and he's going to bring special teams play. And I think still has the ability to run down the field and make a catch. Yeah. And they didn't get a lot of that last year, and most notably from Gabe Davis, like they were hoping for.
Yeah. The aforementioned. Okay, you talk special teams.
Yeah.
And today we got to hear from special teams coordinator Matthew Smiley. It's so funny because I feel like for our job sometimes when you saw that on the schedule, the media schedule, you'd be like, I can be a little bit late. I don't have to.
I never think that.
Neither do I. I come prepared every day for camp.
You guys are liars. But it was cool talking.
We're here to work. We're here to work.
Just
the fact that you just openly admitted, like, let's blow this off.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that
every rep matters, Jenna.
Oh my God, you guys are the
worst. We have to get better every single day, or somebody or some YouTube channel will pass us.
1% better. Okay, well, I was 1% better today because I showed up early, and actually Matthew Smiley went early in terms of his press conference. But I thought it was interesting. Obviously, the new kickoff rules, it's going to be different this year. And I can't remember who asked the question, but the question was phrased as, how much do you enjoy kind of the challenge of having a new kickoff rules? And he was like, I don't know if enjoy is the right word. And I think that just speaks to how much anxiety, and he even used that word of having anxiety around all the new rules because, Dan, it is going to look so different.
Nobody knows nothing.
Right.
Nobody knows anything. We don't know how this is all going to plan out. You have coaches that have been around the league forever, and now everybody is out a blank slate.
In case people did not know or had not been paying attention, the changes, the kickoff now, the teams will line up within 5 yards of each other, down the field, and they cannot move until the ball either hits the ground inside the 20 or it touches a player, right? So this is not sprinting
I still don't
50
know
yards.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, because I was even watching for that. So it's very different. And I think to your point about what he was saying about the anxiety, I asked him, like, did you talk to, like, other special teams guys? And he's like, yeah, sort of in general, but, like, if you think you got something figured out, you don't want anybody else to know. So they all have an idea. They're all going to be watching the preseason. You're going to see a game Thursday night. You're going to see these kickoffs. And it's either going to be wild or it's going to be a dud. That's the way I look at this thing. It's either going to be like, it's not that different, or guys are returning kickoffs all the time.
It's the XFL style kickoff. So there is video of what it's going to be like. What stood out to me was the difference in punt returners and kickoff returners. Smiley kind of said usually kickoff returners are a little bit bigger guys because it's usually a harder collision. He thinks now the kickoff returners can be more of a punt returner. Smaller, shiftier, quicker, because you're not having those big collisions on your body. So that's KJ Hamler, that's Andy Isabella, looking at those guys to see how they translate into this, because it's not like they've ever done this either. So the players, coaches, you're trying to coach something that has never been done at this level is fascinating.
And another fascinating point is Smiley was talking about the fact that, a couple weeks into the season, you usually have a general idea what other teams are going to do in terms of the kickoff and things like that. But he said it's so different because a team could be doing the same thing for 4 weeks in a row and just decide, hey, maybe we'll change it up. Maybe we'll try this. So it's like that added layer. That to me is going to be so cool to watch.
Chaos.
Cool, chaos, whatever. But having that big of a change will be interesting.
And it was also brought up that some people believe, based on the way it's going to line up, the kicker, he didn't use this term, but be like last line of defense.
Yeah, exactly. Tackle.
And make a tackle. And he's like, listen, if you're setting this up that Tyler Bass is going to be the guy making the tackles.
Got problems.
You got problems. One, you could get hurt. And two, he can make a tackle. You just don't want to depend on it. So could be teams who use a non-kicker if they can kick the ball that far. And I was kind of thinking of a guy, and we'll mention him in a little bit, who could have fit that role, but he's not here right now.
Okay. Well, first let's go to Tyler Bass. Because Matthew Smiley was asked about Tyler Bass, and he put it this way, Dan. Sometimes you learn more from the adversity that you go through. Mm-hmm. No one was more frustrated about a missed kick by Tyler Bass than Tyler Bass. Do you think it's interesting, though, that we really haven't seen that much of Bass this training camp?
No. I think maybe it's just because we're maybe on pins and needles about wanting to see Bass and see him kick well. He had a couple of so-so days in mini camp, so I think that's part of it. Still not worried, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, he's the only – well, I shouldn't say that, because the extra punter –
does both.
Browning.
Yeah.
Did do both, but I think I get the impression Jack.
Because isn't Jake Browning
right,
the
it's
quarterback?
Jack.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yes. We should,
Jake
Brown.
Yeah.
But in terms of he's the kicker
Yeah.
here, and that's what they believe. He did talk about the sports psychology part of it, dealing with it, and how they wanted to focus on, or Tyler did, because we haven't talked to him, on dealing with the people who are there to help him, not focusing on, honestly, what you guys think or what we think. Like, not media, because, listen, you're a Bills fan, you want it to be good. If you thought there was going to be a better kicker, you would want them to get the better kicker, right? If that's Tyler Bass, that's
comment
great.
in, are you concerned about Tyler Bass this season? I think that, again, 3 phases of the game, you need to have a kicker that can depend on it. And we have seen the talent that he has. And that Smiley was saying more of its mechanical adjustments that he can make as well as mental adjustments.
I'm with Dan on the not as worried about it, only because of what you just said. We've seen it at a high level. If last year was his rookie year, you would be worried.
Correct.
But we have seen him be almost automatic, great on the kickoffs, really doing everything. And it could just have been a slump. It could have been a lot of reasons last year, but it was impactful.
Yeah. You mentioned someone who's not here. Who would that be? Oh, sorry.
They're just doing some work around here at camp. So we had a nice talk. Dan and I were over there, and we talked nice talk with Taron Johnson. It was always great to talk to. He talked about Damar HAMLIN.
Yep.
And listen, Damar's running a lot with the ones.
He is.
Oh, really?
Man, he can
He's
take
just
some
so
credit.
insufferable.
Damar looks
Hey,
good.
MVS.
And you made the point of, hey, a couple years ago he started.
15 games.
Yeah, and he played, and Taron was all in on that, and we asked him about a bunch of things, and go ahead.
The one thing that stood out to me about Damar,
Yeah.
and it's something that I think is very, very, very important to this defense. He said Damar looks like a guy that knows the system.
Yeah.
You got a rookie in Cole Bishop, and you have a free agent in Mike Edwards who has been injured and has missed some time. I always think that the returning guy always has a little bit of a leg up in that competition battle.
And not only has he been
Makes
here,
sense.
he started, like you said. So
Yep.
he's had a lot of snaps as a starter in the offense and the defense. Okay, so then Dan asked about, we were talking, he's like, hey, how about the guys who aren't here? He's like, I keep in touch with all of them, all those guys. And then, well, take a listen. I asked about somebody that you guys know who's not here right now.
I know he's busy in Miami. He's getting going.
Yeah.
Micah's, whatever Micah's doing.
Yep.
Do you keep in touch?
For sure. I've been talking pretty much everybody that was here. So I'm talking to Dane, Trey, Micah, Poe, all of them. You know what I'm saying? So just seeing how they're feeling, where they're at. You know what I'm saying? And they're all happy. You know what I'm saying? They understand that it's a business and things happen the way they're supposed to.
So could Micah one day come walking back in here?
I'll let him speak on that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know.
So I'm not going to make too much of that. But Dan, it was
It's not nothing.
It's not nothing. He's
I
not
love
saying
that.
anything.
It's not nothing.
And I'm not saying
Not
it's
nothing.
something, but it's not nothing. It made me, in my mind, think a little differently about Micah Hyde.
Bean said the same thing a few days ago. Micah was at practice. We're at good places. We'll see, but there hasn't been anything more beyond the need for one.
He was at a mini camp.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not been here.
Yeah, sorry.
at St. John Fisher. No, just to be, we want to be factual.
Very clear. Yeah. All right. Anything else? The Bills will have practice tomorrow. That is Monday.
Padded.
First pads are going on.
Yeah.
First padded practice of
Cole
the
Bishop
summer.
got some runs with the ones as well.
Oh, yes, he did. Are
That's
they
his-
rotating or?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
rotates.
Okay. they're
Well, we'll
rotating.
see tomorrow when the pad's on how they do, and we'll see
Thud
how
up.
MVS
The
does.
thud up. Okay. All right. For Mike Catalana and Dan Fates, I am Jenna Cottrell.
Did you just not want to say my name?
No, I just shorted out right there. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, as well as share the channel. We always appreciate it. We'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris.
Do I need to fix anything here?